Welcome, everyone. I'm Jason Quinn with QTE Manufacturing Solutions. We're the premier provider of software solutions and related services for the machine shop floor in the Midwest, specifically in CAD/CAM, metrology, shop floor communications through Mastercam, Verisurf, and Simco products. We've been doing this for 35 years, and we have a team of experts to help ensure your success in U.S. manufacturing. What we have for you guys today is the first part of a three-part series for those that are struggling to complete first article inspections efficiently, frustrated with inspection bottlenecks slowing down production, and possibly unhappy using multiple software platforms in their inspection department or their entire inspection process. Today in part one, we're going to focus on portable CMM arm inspection. On Tuesday, June 9th, we're going to discuss model-based definition and reporting. And in part three on June 11th, we'll focus on CMM programming and operations. But before I turn over the presentation to Jeremy with Verisurf, I want to cover some quick housekeeping. All of you have been put on mute, but we encourage you to send any questions via chat. We're going to monitor the chat box and work to address your questions either in the moment or at the end of the presentation as it makes sense. There's a lot of really good content we want to share and be respectful of your time. So with that, I want to turn it over to Jeremy with Verisurf and get things moving.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate that. Again, my name is Jeremy Clements, and I am the East Coast sales engineer for Verisurf Software. Today's presentation, as Jason mentioned, is going to be going over the Master 3D Gauge Portable Arm CMM and using it to do quick inspection and alignment. What I will do first to start this presentation out is go through, move this off the screen here. I will go through a PowerPoint, and then at the end of the PowerPoint, I will share my webcam so you can actually see the arm, and we'll do some measurements and some alignment within Verisurf. And again, at the end of the PowerPoint, I will move on to that. So this presentation, real quick, is going to go over 3D measurement and manufacturing. And I'm sure most of you are aware, but what is computer-aided metrology? This is the science of using digital measurement equipment in conjunction with computer software to quantify the physical size of or distance from any given object. Verisurf works with over 150 different portable and stationary CMMs, from the arm that you'll see today to a fixed bed CMM, to laser trackers and even non-contact scanners. And again, as the series progresses, the third day we will cover the fixed CMM and programming them. So with our software, the goal of our software is to not only help you with first article inspection, and we're also looking to help you handle large point clouds. We're also there to help you with reverse engineering, meshing, analysis, and all of that we will get into. And at the end of this series, we might continue into another series going over reverse engineering and a deeper dive into analysis. So here's a really quick example of an inspection workflow, and this is what I will be doing today. We've got our portable CMM arm, we've got our as-built part, and we've got the CAD model. And this is the goal, is to check the part to the CAD model. Within Verisurf, we'll open the CAD file, we'll set up our alignment targets to establish our coordinate system, we'll run an auto align, and then Verisurf will drive the user to the physical targets with target displays. And again, you'll see that here in a minute. After we get into alignment, you can immediately jump into our operations manager, which allows you to do a collection of specific features. For example, if you're looking to measure a slot, a circle, a spline, Verisurf has all those capabilities on the left-hand side. At the end of the day, one of the most important things is getting into reporting. I will show a teaser of the reporting after I do a few inspections of our features in a moment, but Verisurf is a very powerful software for report generation. So again, keep in mind that on June 9th, at 1 o'clock Eastern time, we will be having a second part of our series going over the reporting tool. That concludes my PowerPoint, so let's jump into the good stuff. Let me exit this and bring Verisurf up. Everybody see my screen okay? So on your screen, there should be two, please move this.
Jeremy, right now I see the arm. I don't see your computer screen.
Yep, 1 second. It says my sharing is it says resume sharing, so I apologize. Let me stop share and then reshare. Okay, is that better?
It is.
Okay, sorry about that. So as demonstrated in the PowerPoint, this is Verisurf software. One of the strengths of Verisurf, if you are a Mastercam user, and you do not have to be a Mastercam user, but you will recognize a lot of the interfaces similar to Mastercam. So if you already have Mastercam, you're already off on the right foot. If you don't have Mastercam, no problem, but I'm guessing the majority of the individuals here are using that. So if you are familiar with Mastercam, from wireframe, surfaces, solids, model prep, drafting, transform, that is all Mastercam. From measure, reverse analysis, MBD, that is where Verisurf adds on. So again, today's goal is to show the master 3D gauge, and I will lower it here so you can see it. Let me bring it into the screen. This is the portable master 3D gauge arm. It is 1,008 accuracy over the full 4-foot length of the arm. Let me lower it so you can see the arm base. It has a 3mm tip. It also comes with a 6mm ruby, and it can come with a variety of other options depending on your needs. So once I have a very stable setup with the arm and the part, I can begin my alignment process. So Verisurf, to begin this alignment process using a CAD model, I'm going to use our align targets. However, if you don't have a CAD model, you can still do feature alignment. There's a lot of resources available to you. So here I'm going to just select and put targets on this top surface to establish my larger plane for the alignment. I will put targets here and on the side. This is basically just locking the rotation of the device. And I will hit run auto align. And you can see Verisurf has already begun showing you graphically where the part is. After about the third target measurement, it will visually snap to the screen. You can see my probe moving on the screen. And it's just driving me to these targets that I laid down. So here, can you see this one, the report, or did it not come up?
Yes, I can see the report.
Okay, so we have immediately after doing the alignment, we get an alignment report that tells us how well we align to the part. Here in the CAD file, here we have a max error of 1/10, so a really good alignment. I can choose to report out if that's a requirement. You can leave the measurements as analysis objects, which we'll get into. But primarily what I'm going to do here for our purposes is just hit accept. So from there, Verisurf goes immediately into what we call build inspect mode. And this is a really nice feature if you're just trying to do a really quick profile analysis, or if you're trying to set another model or another part. So if I hold the actual probe tip to the surface, if you can see my screen, you can actually see a live readout. And I'm not triggering any buttons here. I'm just looking at the surface to see how well I align and how well everything is showing. However, if you do want to leave a profile analysis, you can just trigger buttons or trigger the points, and it will leave that information on the surface. Or if you have a 3D scanner or you want to do probe scanning, you can hold the probe to the surface and hold this button in and just drag it along the surface. Now, sometimes these webinars, they don't show it as fast as it generates, but hopefully you're seeing how quickly I got that profile analysis with the probe tip. This master 3D gauge arm does come with a 3D laser scanner attachment. So this is the 3D laser scanner attachment. It collects about 50,000 points per second. And again, we're here to help you manage the point cloud, filter, mesh it, all of that fun stuff. So we have very quickly aligned to the part. We very quickly have done a profile inspection. Now what we're going to do is, as you remember in the PowerPoint, I showed you that we can collect specific features. So to make this presentation a little cleaner, I'm going to turn off some of these boxes here. So now we have our tutor block by itself. And to get into answering some questions, I'm sure they'll be at the end, what kind of files that we load. Verisurf, this is an MCAM file. However, Verisurf loads a whole host of different file formats from IGES, STEP, CATIA. Really depends on your workflow application and what files you're using. So again, referencing back to the PowerPoint, if you look here on the left-hand side of the screen, we have our different features that we can measure. With Verisurf, what I can do is I can say, let's select this circle. I can switch this to single point, and I have it set for 4 points. You can increase that number here, decrease it. You can not do a full circle. You could do a radius if you wanted to. But for our purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a circle measurement out of this bigger circle, and then I'll probably collect a few of these circles around the outside to get that bolt hole. So immediately on the screen, you can see that Verisurf has pulled the CAD information with the actual measurement. So we can see the diameter, the radius, and how well we fit to it. We can also have this balloon out onto your screen. So if you would like to see that specific circle, let me move this. You can have it pre-programmed to do that. You can choose what you want to see. And again, this is something that we're going to go over a lot more in detail next week. But just to show you, so as soon as you're done measuring, you can get this balloon to pop up. You can determine what's on screen. And this does get into our reporting functionality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off for now. And like I said, I'm going to go around and if you want to collect the slot, the cone, the sphere, you have that ability within Verisurf. And maybe I'll do the sphere so that you all can see it. The purpose of me capturing these circles is that at the end of it, I can generate a bolt hole pattern out of them in the report. I've collected my circles there. And if you want to say do this sphere, you have the ability there. Again, you have the ability to do this as a scan, or you can change the number of points here. Typically with a sphere, we're doing 5. So 1 at the bottom of the sphere and then 5 around. So you can see I have that set to actually populate with the sphere. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off just for today's purposes. One of the questions I get a lot of the time is, hey, can you do a profile analysis on this spline, this surface here? And the way that I would do that is I can come back into our build inspect mode, and I can just hold the probe right to it, switch it to a continuous, and just drag the probe across that surface. So I'm getting immediate inspection of that surface. You can also measure that as a spline. However, the build inspect is very efficient in that regard. So we've got our features, we've got an analysis. We can then go into our reporting if you want. And again, I'm just going to do a little teaser for next week. I'm going to add these guys to a new report. And something that we will get into next week is that, and this is related to CMMs, is when you create a report, it's the same thing for Verisurf as a plan. So as an operator is measuring, he can create a plan as he goes. Another operator can walk up, hit play, and run through the exact same plan that he created while measuring. You can also program the features from CAD. There's a lot of functionality that can make your workflow in life a lot easier if you're doing a lot of repeat parts. Let's open up our plan. So here, we determine what we want to show. I'll just turn a few of these things off. And again, like I said, we will go into this more in depth. The primary thing I wanted to show here was how to create a bullet hole circle. So I can select those circles and I can hit construct circle. Hit OK. So now our circle is in there. Our bullet hole circle is in there. You can add a screenshot to this. And again, like I said, we will definitely get more into this next week. But depending on what needs reported, we can do that. And our inspection, I'm just going to do a summary because we have, so I'll do a profile. I'm just basically going through selecting what we want to see at the end of the day for our report. When it's all said and done, you can simply come down here and hit report. Verisurf will automatically populate a PDF. Can you see that, Jason or Chris? I would just want to make sure you can see my PDF on my screen.
No, I don't see the PDF.
Okay. What about now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So for next Tuesday, we'll just create a better transition between Verisurf and showing a PDF application. But anyway, so here getting into next week, we'll show how to add a screenshot with all the ballooning. We will show profile analysis. We'll show the GD&T side of it, again, by constructing that bolt hole circle. We can show concentricity. These are all the things that we will get into next week. But for today, the goal was to go over the PowerPoint very quickly, show you how we can load a CAD file, analyze or align to that file, do a quick analysis and measurements of that file, and then give you a quick report. And again, this is totally workflow dependent, but Verisurf can work with not only the point probe, but scan data. So there's a lot of power here. And like I said, maybe in another web series, we'll get into reverse engineering as well. So if you don't have a CAD file, we'll show through Mastercam and Verisurf how you can reverse engineer that into a CAD file. And again, one of the common questions I get is, hey, what if I don't have a CAD file and I just need to do quick dimension checks? Verisurf does not require a CAD file to do your dimensions checks. We can align to the part using features. So say this top plane, align here and align here. We could align that way and then get your measurements without having a CAD file. So please keep that in mind while you're watching this. It is really nice with having the CAD file because you get all the nominal data. But if you don't have that available, then you're still able to get your measurements. So with that, it's again a very short and sweet presentation showing the capabilities, brief capabilities of Verisurf. But I would like to turn this back over for any type of questions from Chris or from you all, and do my best to answer them.
Jeremy, thank you. We do have a couple questions. So the first one, how do you qualify the arm to 0.0018? Do you check it to the 4:1 accuracy?
To the 4:1 accuracy.
4:1 accuracy.
What's that?
To 4:1 accuracy.
What we're doing with our auto align is we're taking the features, the points that we've taken, and it is totally dependent. That 1/10 is dependent on your setup, but we're doing a best fit over those features for the auto align. So that's how we're able to quantify and get down to that 1/10. And it is, that accuracy is also dependent on the arm's calibration and its setup as well.
Okay. Another question. Can you show the automate feature you mentioned, or is that for one of the upcoming sessions?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna dive into the automate, the third session, and that is going to show a lot of variety in terms of not only just programming CMMs, but we can also get into a little bit of feature extraction off of a point cloud and a model within the automate, which will be next Thursday, I believe.
Okay. Yep. Third session next Thursday. Another question, how do you adjust to using the world coordinate system?
Yeah, so let me make sure that you can see Verisurf again. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
So Verisurf has a lot of different abilities for moving your work coordinate system depending on your need. Here we can do it off of points, lines, planes. However, we also have this nomin that you can just grab and snap to certain corners if necessary. And you can move the X, Y, and Z. So there's a lot of functionality there too.
All right, great. How about, how does Verisurf handle point clouds, such as from a 3D laser scanner?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It's one that I did address a little bit when we went over it, but with the Master 3D Gauge, it has its own scanner. With other OEM arms, even just 3D laser scanners, Verisurf handles point cloud data extremely well.
All right. Everyone in the chat, this is a great time. If you have any additional questions, please add those to the chat. If you are unfamiliar with where the chat is on your screen, if you just drive your mouse to the bottom of the screen, it should pop up a toolbar, and one of the options is chat. If you click that, it'll bring up your chat dialog.
So again, what I'm showing on my screen here is stuff that we will get into more next week, is including these ballooning features, leaving them on the screen, taking screenshots, showing GD&T reporting. And Verisurf also, something to mention, if you have a step 242 file, we can automatically read in the MBD or the GD&T with the file. So please keep that in mind. And if your file has that information, we can display it and create it. So for example, if you look on my screen, not getting too in depth, but we have our datum callouts here. We've got our datum targets established and showing these different MBDs that actually came in with the part.
All right, I don't see any additional questions in the chat right now.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate everyone's time. Chris and Jason, I'm sure that if there are additional questions, we will work together to answer those. But I look forward to seeing you all next week to do a deeper dive into the reporting, and then Thursday for the automation side of it.
All right, very good. And another thank you from QTE. I didn't introduce myself originally, but this is Chris Davidson, who you see the correspondence from in coordinating these events. I want to thank you all for joining us for this event and the future events if you've registered for those. As always, keep an eye out for any of our emails letting you know about our upcoming events. You can also see those if you go to our website, qtemfg.com, and go to the events tab. You'll see a listing of the events that are coming up along with our training. So you can look at seminars, you can look at upcoming training. So please do that. Keep up to date on it. If you have not joined our newsletter, you can scroll to the bottom of our website page, really any of our website pages, in the footer, and click the Join Newsletter button. That'll ensure that you're getting all of our communication through our marketing for our events and our monthly newsletter. So with that, is there anything else, Jeremy or Jason?
No, I'm good from the Verisurf standpoint. Again, like I said, I'm looking forward to diving deeper into everything with you all.
No, thanks for attending, everyone, and look forward to having you on the next parts of the series as we take a deeper dive, especially on reporting, and then get into the CMM management solution. But as well, any questions in the interim, don't hesitate to reach out to your QTE sales rep or contact us directly through support. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.